So we're checking out my latest sneaker pickup, which I was lucky enough to be able to grab these via the Nike Sneakers app. So I can't really tell you guys how difficult of a cop these were, but I do know since these have dropped, we've seen a few restocks pop up here and there. So unfortunately, this is not going to be an early review. I'm not going to be trying to sell you on these sneakers or telling you to buy these now before the price skyrockets or anything like that. Just an everyday average dude talking sneakers and how these Aqua 8s make me feel. So if you guys have already grabbed these, comment down below. Let me know how these sneakers make you feel, which I feel like is what I love so much about the game. You got so many different people, all different walks of life, different age groups, all kind of coming together for a common passion, the love of sneakers. So if you guys are new here to the channel, a quick little history lesson. When you talk about the Jordan 8, this is a shoe which originally dropped back in '93, a design of the legendary Tinker Hatfield, who was coming off Nike classics such as the Air Raid. You also had the Hirachi. So there was a lot of anticipation for the Jordan 8. Jordans were already a cultural phenomenon at that time, and let's just say these 8s were another legendary design. So as far as MJ and the Chicago Bulls, they actually knocked off the Phoenix Suns that same year for their third consecutive NBA championship. This was the final Jordan which MJ rocked before his very first retirement, before he went off to play baseball for that quick little stint. So when you talk about these Aquas, the specific colorway, these were also worn by MJ during the All-Star game. So they didn't feature the Chicago color scheme, but were something a little different, kind of represented the theme of the 90s, which is why I feel like these sneakers have had such kind of like a mass appeal throughout the years. Now, as far as my history, you know, I would refer to myself as kind of like a Space Jam baby, meaning that in '93, when these shoes originally dropped, I wasn't into basketball or anything like that. I didn't start watching until after Space Jam came out, or around when Space Jam dropped. This was the same season, '95, '96, when he was wearing the 11s. That's when I started really getting into this whole basketball thing. The love for Jordan started there. So for me, when you talk about the 8s, I kind of had to go back. This actually was a sneaker which I first picked up when they started to retro these around the 2010s. So I remember getting the playoffs, also the Bugs Bunnies around that same time, which I did miss out the last time they retroed the playoff 8. So I felt like as far as these Aquas coming about, it would be the perfect time to be able to get another pair of Jordan 8s. And when you talk about these joints right here, the Aquas are iconic. I definitely remember like Kanye rocking these during like the early 2000s. That was a memorable image that would always be stuck in my mind, which I always felt like this was a dope sneaker, which they've dropped, you know, a few different times throughout the years. This take is a little bit controversial due to the shade of gray featured here on this back heel tab. They're a lot lighter than previous iterations, but for me, it doesn't bother me at all. It kind of gives a contrast between the black, and I think it just makes you be able to put together fits different when it comes to these 8s. I absolutely love the bottom. I already talked about the aqua color, just like screams that 90s vibe. The tongue features that kind of little thick fur, which is really dope. So this is just a cool shoe, dual straps. You got the 23 on here, Jordan branding. Just a great shoe overall, which kind of has like almost more of like a high cut boot type of feel. So when you talk about these Aquas, again, I wasn't around when these originally dropped, so everybody kind of has a different connection, a different story to these particular shoes. So for me, when I hold a pair of Jordan 8s in my hand, it kind of takes me back to that time 10 plus years ago, you know, when I had the playoffs, the Bugs Bunny joints. I just remember those were some wild times. I'm not gonna bore you guys with any of those horrible stories, what we were doing back in those times, but just know it was diabolical. So having these in hand, they do seem to feel a lot more heavier than from what I remember, but seem to be a lot more kind of sleek, or I guess a little more narrow than the 8s, the shape and everything, which were dropping back in that time. So it's just cool, man. Everybody loves these shoes for different reasons. For me, it does give me nostalgia, not from when they originally dropped, but from when I was grabbing them 8s like 10 plus years ago. So it just takes me back to where I was living at the time, where I was working, and the shenanigans that we were all getting back into. So when you talk about this shoe right here, true to size, pick these up in my 10.5. For me, Jordans always fit true to size. On feet, you know, I had to kind of squeeze my foot into them, but they're cool, they're comfortable, nothing to really like write home about. But then again, who's buying Jordans out here? Sneakers that were designed back in the 90s, 80s for comfort. You guys know what I'm saying? I feel like it's more so just for the nostalgia, for the look. Some people are even collectors. A lot of people just buy these and don't even wear them, but this is one that I'm gonna be rocking. I don't be out here buying every single Jordan retro drop like I did back in the day, but there is a few particular pairs which pop up here and there, mostly OGs, which I feel like are too difficult to pass up on, and these Aquas were definitely one of those. So definitely happy to be able to have these joints, really cool. Never owned this specific colorway, but have always kind of been a fan of the Jordan 8s, a model which I kind of feel like is a little more underappreciated when we talk about mainline Jordan retros 1 through 14. Let me know what y'all think about these. So again, earlier I asked you guys if you picked these up, so drop your feedback on this one, and if you missed out on these or passed up on them, let me know why you passed up on them. You're just not a fan of the Jordan 8. I know it's not the most popular model, not the easiest to wear, but I feel like these ones are cool, man. Nostalgic throwback Jordan 8 Aquas just dropped. Super happy to grab these. And when you talk about 8s, what other Jordans do we have set to release? Are the Bugs Bunnies coming out again? I think those are supposed to be dropping later this year, so we'll see how things go. But as far as this one, super happy to grab these. So JA checking in with y'all. Not really a full review or anything like that, but just kind of want to give you my initial thoughts on my latest pickup and how these actually make me feel, the times that it kind of takes me back to. So drop your feedback down below if you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the like button. Plus, if you made it all the way through the end, go ahead and drop a salute. Let me know. So JA TV, I'll catch you guys next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Love.